Hey, I don't know if my audio is working.
How are you?
Good, how are you? I
Good.
just got your email.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when she said the Facebook lead accelerator, I was like, I've never heard of that. Weird. So
It was a thing for like 2 weeks.
It's so funny because I went into like Command Live or whatever, and I typed it in there, and I saw that there were like tutorial videos on it, and I'm like, oh, must be a thing I haven't heard of. But yeah, no, I did do it not last week. So
yeah. And I was gonna say, I was like, I swear you did it, and like you covered everything that I would have covered anyway.
Yeah, no, we did. So if you can think of like another topic that people have been asking about for next Tuesday.
I think the big one, I think you've been hitting the big ones, which is agent websites, and then Facebook ads is another big one. I will say I've had a lot of success with the Facebook ads. We got like 40 new leads this month.
Oh my gosh.
From Facebook ads. And I added the smart plan in this morning, the smart plan from Nick Baldwin. I will say, like, I don't know how effective that smart plan's going to be. There's a lot of things that we don't have access to yet that he has access to, like the sending the reduced price listings and things like that. We can't do that yet because ours isn't syncing fully. So there's certain things that we're not going to be able to do. So I just had to kind of tailor it a little bit, but I'm interested to see how we're able to convert on those with that smart plan.
Yeah, that's going to be super interesting. I'm going to put this on our Facebook page.
Good. Okay, let me get my hair taken care of then. My hair is never taken care of. Curly hair just does not behave.
Oh, so. Mine is ridiculous. Like my gray hairs are starting to pop out in Zoom meetings. It's insane.
I just embrace the gray. Just embrace it.
I'm gonna have to. What happened? Go live. And I talked to Summer at like about an hour ago and made sure that we were all good and squared away there. And she said,
yeah, she sent me some of the materials that she's going to be using. I know she's working really hard on a file for one of our agents right now that's been going back and forth pretty badly. So she may be a little busy. I'm sure she'll still make it and everything fine. But yeah, I know that's been a frustrating thorn in her side. So.
Oh, I bet. And I talked to, I think it was Dawn this morning, and she had accidentally double booked herself. So I'm recording it and I'm going to put it on.
Because she especially was excited about this one.
Yeah, she was.
Because she was one of the ones that was like, how do we know? Every single place is different. Every single, and like nobody has down payment assistance anymore. And so there's a lot of things that are just changing so rapidly right now. Like I had a client who called me just like an hour ago wanting to write an offer on a house that one of her neighbors is selling. It's not even on the market yet. She calls me, she's like, I just walked through, I want to make an offer. And I was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you work at Legends, right? And she said, yes. I was like, aren't you laid off right now? And she's like, I still have my reserves. I'm collecting unemployment, which is more than enough to pay all my bills. She said, so I don't know if it's still gonna be okay. So I had to call her lender, and her lender said, yeah, as long as she's back at work for at least 2 weeks before closing, we're good.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, that's crazy. But she's not on down payment assistance or anything. She's on a normal conventional loan. So yeah.
Hey girls.
Hey. Long time no see. I miss you.
I miss you too.
You're going to be leaving us so soon. I don't even know. Am I even going to see you again in real life?
I don't know, man. It's just kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, maybe.
Where are you going?
That's sad.
From 6 feet away.
Oh, I'll have to because I want to see you again.
I know. We'll try to figure
something, or
you'll have to sell my house. That's what you do in this neighborhood, right?
Yeah, I do sell your neighborhood a lot. I love your neighborhood though.
Brittany, she sold my next door neighbor's house, and then she also sold one 2 doors down the other way.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
full block.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a cute neighborhood. But yeah, she's moving, Brittany. She's leaving us.
Oh.
Maybe. I mean, I think so. So far, so good. We'll see.
Hey, speaking of your neighborhood, here's Brandy.
Yeah, I know. And there's Summer.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. You look like you're in a box.
Oh no, it's my headboard.
Oh.
It's our tiny house.
Yeah, my tiny house. I'm putting I have a wood wallpaper that I'm gonna put right here to do like a wood headboard. It'll look good. I just got it finally
cool.
in the mail. I have time for projects now.
It'll look like shiplap.
Yeah, it'll look like shiplap without adding a bunch of weight to my RV.
How are you,
Yeah.
Corey? I feel like I haven't seen you forever.
Probably haven't. I don't jump on a lot of these right now because I have like the Ignite ones that I've been working on and like a lot of the other command ones and stuff. So I haven't been jumping on a lot of the office ones unless it's something that I'm like, I need to get there. Because Brittany's been doing such a good job of recording everything. I've been watching a lot of them after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I watch most of my videos and stuff like early in the morning. Like, yeah, a little easier for me. Hi,
Hey,
Summer.
Hi.
Hey.
How's everybody?
We have the same blinds.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
Are you at home too?
Oh yeah. So if you hear screams in the background,
The
You know
kids. Yeah.
Fun times, fun times.
Mine would be a cat.
oh, I'll
Yelling for
trade you.
treats.
Yeah, we could get cat or dog.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this one, Summer.
Well, good. I'm excited. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. I had so many agents that were like, how do we know everything's changing every single day? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, how to operate right now. I don't know what answers to give or what expectations to set. And I was like, I know who will.
Yep.
Let me get you them.
Oh, thank you. How are you all doing?
Good.
Good? How about you?
Me? Oh, my head is spinning. I mean,
The
no
policy
secret.
change every few hours.
Truly.
Yeah.
In the jumbo market, which, we don't do a ton of in our area, but there are some, and the government loans, things are changing. Every day there's something
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
So what's changing on the government loans?
Credit score requirements.
So what
Yeah.
are they at?
FHA minimum 640.
Oh,
That only seems reasonable, honestly.
I know, but conventional 620. Still, that hasn't changed.
740.
what?
Huh?
Who is
I
that?
thought conventional was 740. It's 620?
Yeah,
Shoot.
I know.
Wow.
Who's JC?
So I
That's
heard
funny.
that Bank of America and Chase were not doing loans other than 20% down. Had you heard that?
I haven't heard Bank of America, but I have heard that Chase just announced that the other day.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Crazy. I also have a loan right now where it's a mobile home on land, and it's not my buyer. The buyer was at Wheatland, and now they're not doing those loans anymore on VA. Mobile home
Whoa.
on land. Yeah. So I'm not sure. They switched to Navy Federal Credit Union, so we'll see.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I just had one come to me yesterday. Fortunately, it's a stick-built home, but they came to me from USAA because they're just they're just too busy,
Wow.
even for a purchase. Not to dive, too much into things while we wait for everybody to join, but I think one of the most important things and hopefully reassuring things for you as agents to know is that yes, everybody's busy, but we're prioritizing purchases. We have to. So
What is the refi rate on a conventional loan right now?
mid to low threes.
Oh, wow.
I know. And on a purchase, really, it's the same thing. It just depends on, you know, how much equity somebody has, and there's adjustments on credit scores. So we just plug them into the formula and see where they're at.
Wow.
I know.
And are you getting any drive-by appraisals? Because I
A
just
lot.
got burned on one of those.
You got burned on one?
I did. It was Rich Brian. Well, that says it all. And he drove by a house and then put 12 pages of addendum on his appraisal on how he couldn't make an accurate appraisal of the property because he hadn't seen the condition, and came in $40,000 low.
Was that the Ryan with Ryan?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, he's talking
In an
about
apple
that
tree
today.
house.
Wow.
But I hate Rich Brian anyway. I mean, he's always low.
That is crazy.
So I actually, I got a buyer who had already started working with somebody, and they are doing state bond. And I said, well, have you talked to your lender recently? And they said yes. And then I talked to her too, and they said they are doing them. So I'm making a guess that if a company says, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do the state bond right now, is it just because they're taking on the responsibility if state bond won't fund it?
No.
Okay.
So that's actually something I wanted to share with everybody.
Oh, then I'll wait for that.
Oh no, that's okay. I don't really have
I think we can go ahead and get started, you guys. I think a lot of people are actually watching it on our private Facebook page as well. So.
Oh, okay.
okay. I don't have, you know, anything in any particular order that I need to talk about. So if there are questions, I would love for you guys to kind of chime in. I mean, I'm here for you. So whatever I can do to help kind of put your minds at ease. First and foremost, I mean, with as much as we can control business as usual, business is there, people still want to buy homes. Demand is still out there. It is unbelievable and so exciting. And I think that if there's anything that I can convey to you, which you're really on the front lines and you're seeing more of this than I am, the demand is not going away. So right now, you know, when people do get back to quote unquote normal life, they really are going to be competing against that many more people, you know, who have had to sit on the sidelines or choosing to sit on the sidelines for one reason or the other right now. So, you know, is it still a good time to buy a home? Absolutely. Rates are still low. Anybody that is, you know, employed right now and doesn't own a home, most of those people are looking at houses or can still qualify. And I do truly believe that it's more important than ever to get pre-approved earlier on in the process or as soon as possible, because if there are issues and if we need to get their credit scores up a little bit, it takes time to do that. We'll have the time to do that. So we'd love to help get them ready. Some of the biggest changes, so I'll kind of dive into this, Lisa. You asked about bond loans. Not every lender has, I'll use the term paused that program, but most lenders have. Some that were still in process when this came out are still closing. And, you know, I think that's great that that lender is going to honor that. And I think that's the right thing to do. But they are one of the more risky programs that are out there because people are not coming in with their own equity, right? So they will come back. I think that's the most important thing to know. We don't know. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a week from now. It could happen, you know, 2 months from now. We don't know. But a lot of it has to do with the fear of that particular borrower or that type of borrower going into forbearance, which is something I really want to talk more about because I think it's so important that you guys know and understand what that is and how it's going to affect your buyers or potential buyers now and in the future. So it'll come back. But what happens, I heard last week, I think it was, that the reason there's a pause on the bond loans is that essentially the Washington State Housing Finance Commission has not said whether or not they will guarantee those payments to the servicer if that loan should go into forbearance. So in other words, if people aren't making their mortgage payments, it falls on the servicer or us in that case. And, you know, we lose out money. And it's going to be a compounding effect. I mean, the more people that go into forbearance, the higher risk for people that are lending money. So something that I would encourage you to talk to your buyers about early on, if they are, you know, maybe needing that assistance, is just other options. The bond program really is a great program, but a lot of times people fall back on it just because they want to, you know, hang on to their savings, which I totally understand. And I think savings is so important, but so is homeownership. So other sources of down payments, none of that has really changed. You can still, of course, get a gift from a family member if that's an option. You can sell something, just know that we have to document it, and proof of ownership and all that stuff. We'll walk you through it. You can, I think I said, borrow from retirement, get a gift from a family member, sell an asset that we can verify and truly show that, you know, source of funds. So, you know, if somebody's willing to do that, let's talk about it. And truly, you can buy a home with as little as 3% down or 3.5% down. And in the long run, you're paying less interest, and you don't ever have to worry about that added loan that you're going to have to pay back in the future. So if this truly is somebody's first home and they're only going to live there for a couple of years, is the down payment assistance or bond really the best option for them? Not always. So just something to think about. We already touched on credit scores a little bit, but I do think it's important to know, like I said, credit scores, the requirements are going up, and it will take a long time to know if and when those will come back down a little bit. But no, right now, FHA's minimum score is 640. Conventional Fannie Mae, they're still saying 620. So I haven't seen any changes on that yet. Verifications of employment have been a big thing that have disrupted the process a little bit. Not necessarily disrupted, but it's always a challenge, right? So it seems to be that either we get those verifications of employment back right away, or we have to get our clients involved because people don't take us seriously and how important those are in the process. They're more important now than ever in the process. So early on, make sure that your buyer is communicating with you, with the lender, and with their employer. And making sure that we know who we can call to say, hey, are they still employed? Typically that's happening during underwriting. It's happening before we'll send loan documents. And then it's gonna happen again sometimes before we fund the loan. That's just our current state. So we've got to work through it. And I think the better we can communicate that to our buyers, the better we can all be prepared. Do you guys have any questions with that information before I move on to something else I wanted to share with you?
I have a quick question, Summer. How you were talking about buyers selling assets and being able to track the assets and stuff. I had a buyer tell me the other day that he has a bunch of blocks of silver, I think, silver or gold that he was selling in order to get his down payment. What do they just get a receipt for that? I mean, I've never heard that before.
Oh my gosh.
Is there a tracking process for that?
That's a new one. Are they registered? Do you know? I mean, are they insured or registered or?
I have no idea. He just mentioned that, and I was like, oh, okay, well, just make sure you talk to the lender and, you know, make sure that you have everything that you need in order for them to be able to accept that.
Okay, I think that's awesome that he's willing to do that, number one. Really, I would take it back to basics on that, because anytime we are verifying that somebody is selling something, it's proof of ownership, proof of value, and paper trail of funds. So as long as he can, number one, prove that he owns them, he proves the value, and we can show the paper trail from the bank or whoever's buying them. So make sure that there's no cash. I would walk him through that, and I would try to simplify it, because we always want to make it as easy as possible for our clients as we can, right? So I would try to simplify it in those terms with him and let him know that, hey, if you can do all these things, talk to your lender about it, and he should be able to use them. I mean, I've used Bitcoin assets before. So that was crazy.
That kind of reminded me of the same thing. So that's why I was thinking about that, thinking, oh, that's one I haven't heard before.
Well, I think bars of silver is better than, these interesting things that are going on the internet, but
Well, I think the lender asked him to convert it months ago. And when I talked to him this weekend, he said, well, I'm just not going to convert it unless I know that I'm going to need to use it, because if it goes up, you know, a month from now, I don't want to have to convert it now and then lose or whatever. So he has waited until he got under contract to do this.
That's
Even though he
interesting.
was,
That's interesting. Did you put that as a on the contract as a source of funds that he was waiting on?
No, I didn't know until we were like accepted.
oh my goodness, that is very interesting.
Summer, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that the 3% down loan will go away?
I don't.
No.
Not right now, I don't.
It's interesting because with some of these banks getting so conservative, that's the first thing I thought is I wonder how long until the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac get more conservative.
Yeah. I really hope that doesn't go away. I have seen more requirements for homebuyer courses for those 3% down programs, which, I mean, any information that we can get in front of people early on, especially as first-time homebuyers, I think is always valuable.
On the conventional, they're requiring first-time homebuyer classes?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Who's doing those? They'd have to do them virtually.
They have to do them virtually. They've always been done that way. It's called a framework course, and that's Fannie Mae's version. Freddie Mac has their own version as well. But I have the link. I'd be happy to share with you guys if that would benefit you at all. Let me make a note of that. I want to say they're actually offering them for free right now because of everything that's going on.
I would think so.
So I'll get that out to you.
Have you heard very much about people that are putting their loans, their payments on the back end of their loan, modifying? Would it be considered modifying at this point since the government's like promising it to people?
I love that you're asking that question because that's actually what I wanted to focus on with you guys today.
Okay.
I think it's really important to know what this means. So forbearance, right? People are inquiring about forbearing their mortgages, or, you know, putting their payments in forbearance. There are so many different ways that servicers, and I use that term specifically because they have to communicate with the actual servicer of their mortgage loan in order to request a forbearance on their mortgage. And there's many different ways that we're seeing those be treated right now. So they can sometimes, well, no, actually, they're not allowed to assess penalties, but interest still accrues. So if they're taking 180 days off their mortgage, they're still accruing interest on the balance owed at that time. And it's going to get tacked on at the end. There are so many different ways that it can be treated. They can extend their payments, tack them on at the end. Some servicers are going to require a lump sum payment at the end of that forbearance period, which is terrifying if you do not understand what that means. Or they may just add on whatever's being skipped at the end of their loan. Either way, that money is still going to be owed on their mortgage. It's not going away. But here's the problem. So this came up. I have a client who has a home that he needs to sell in another state, and he's buying a home here. Well, he was just laid off, but he's getting another job already. He's under contract to get another job in the next month. But rightfully so, I mean, he's really nervous about being able to make all those mortgage payments. So he has been inquiring about forbearance, and it gave me an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper on his particular circumstance. And it was pretty eye-opening because if somebody has their mortgage in forbearance now, how's that going to affect their ability to buy a home in the future?
Yeah.
That's really important for you as the realtors to know and communicate to your clients, especially months from now. If you do or do not know whether their home was in, or whether their mortgage was in forbearance during this time, they may not be able to get a mortgage. So it should absolutely always be the option of last resort because it will impact their ability to purchase a home in the future. And we haven't seen exact verbiage on that yet, but right now, for the guideline has always been underwriters require timely payments for the most recent 12 months. So I'm going off of that. And I would say if anybody has skipped payments or put their mortgage into forbearance in the last 12 months, they will not qualify. That's my assumption right now. It's really important to know that.
That's a good point.
And I have a short video that I can share with you guys as well from the CFPB website. Corey, I shared that with you. I'm happy to send that to anybody and everybody. It's just a quick 5-minute video that explains a little bit more in depth on what that means.
I'll post a link to that in the chat, and then I can distribute it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. I don't know where the chat is.
While you're doing that, one of the things I've been telling people, if they are going to call, if that's what they need to do, they need to make sure that they understand the repayment and get it in writing before they agree to it if they're going to go into forbearance. Because some servicers are not even offering the deferred payments on the end of the loan. They're only offering a restructure of the loan or a balloon payment. So some people go in and they're like, oh, I'm going to have the opportunity to choose which of the options or something like that. And then they're getting surprised because they didn't get all of the details up front.
Exactly.
Summer, did you find the chat?
No.
Just put your cursor down at the bottom of the screen. It should pop up.
Oh, there it is. Right there. Okay. It was just sent to me yesterday. What else are you guys seeing out there right now?
Locking rates being crazy. Right? The 15-day locks are completely different than 30, right?
Totally different. I'm personally not locking anything in for less than 45 days right now, just to be safe. Appraisal turn times are 30 days. So just to be safe, I want to give somebody a buffer. And what if there is a hiccup or an obstacle or any sort of an issue trying to get that verification of employment? I just don't want my clients to have to pay for an extension. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. There's the link to that video, you guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? So appraisals, you know, are you guys, Lynette, you mentioned you had a drive-by recently. We're actually being encouraged to order what's called a desk review before a drive-by is accepted, which is basically just the appraiser doing everything electronically with data that they already look at anyway. And then, you know, doing some exterior photos of the property. So we're seeing a lot of that as well.
Summer, I have a question for you. We have a lot of chatter going on that real estate companies are laying off people and all of that. Are you hearing that on the same front on the mortgage side? Or it's kind of surprising to me that they'd be having that big a problem so quickly. Like Redfin let go of a bunch of agents, and EXP let go of a bunch of staff. So I was just wondering if that was happening in your industry.
Not at all. If anything, we need more people.
Yeah.
So.
Have you heard that about any of your competitors?
No, I really don't think that would happen unless things would slow down for us. But we're really, really fortunate right now to have, you know, the business that's still out there. So. Have
you heard anything about rates going higher? Because I had heard that for a while too, that we thought that they might go higher.
That's a really good question. They have to go higher. They can't go any lower. So my opinion is what I can tell you. My opinion is that right now there's so much fear and uncertainty that nobody's going to make any changes for the worse at this time, right? So, I mean, we all know what happens when something good happens in the economy, right? People are making money. Oh, okay, well, let's raise rates because people can afford it. So my belief is that that is absolutely going to happen again, where we get back to whatever our new normal looks like. People are back to work. Things are, you know, well-oiled machine again and running smoothly. Rates will go up.
Yeah. Well, they could go lower because in some countries they're actually in the negative. So, I mean, it possibly could go lower depending on
it could, yeah. I don't know. That would just blow my mind. I was in, before this happened, I got back just in time, actually. I was in Mexico on our work trip in early March. I think I got back on the 15th, right as they were like announcing all these things. I'm going, I just want to go home. But our CEO did a really, really nice job at just kind of explaining what was going on with the oil industry. He didn't necessarily predict what we saw yesterday, but he was saying, you know, I hope it doesn't go that low because it will have a domino effect on everything else. We could absolutely see negative interest rates. I mean, nobody wants to, yes, as a homeowner myself, that would be awesome. But from just the economical perspective, and everybody has to make money to stay in business and create jobs and, you know, keep the economy going. So I hope that that doesn't happen, but it certainly could.
I hope it doesn't either.
Yeah.
Hope we're back to work soon.
I know.
Fun fact, both of my tenants are oil workers.
Ah, great. Your hair is so long, Corey.
It is. It's just getting longer every day, I feel like. And it's all gray.
So, are you seeing a lot of, I mean, you saw that the credit score has gone up, but as a general rule, are you seeing anything else shifting dramatically as far as being able to do some of these loans or not, or are most of them pretty much getting done?
Most of them are getting done.
Okay, good.
If they are still working, still getting paid, they can qualify.
Okay, cool. But state bond, and so my question earlier then, where I said, so some lenders are pausing and some are not pausing, right? So the ones that aren't pausing, but I wasn't right about the fact that if they're not pausing, I mean, I would think that that's because they're taking on the risk, but what do you think if they've decided not to pause? What do you think the difference is, I guess is my question. Why are some saying yes and some saying no, and how does that affect them?
The only way it would negatively affect them in the worst case scenario event that buyer does not make their mortgage payment. That bank or mortgage company who closed that loan is then responsible for those payments.
So they're making a conscious decision that they're going to take on that risk.
Yes.
Other companies are just not. Is that about the only kind of loan, the state bond, that you're seeing that is having that sort of effect, and the rest of them are fine, or what do you think?
As of right now, the short answer would be yes.
Okay.
But, you know, it really wouldn't surprise me if we saw guidelines tighten up more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only thing which really isn't bad, which I saw recently, is documentation used to be good for 90 days within the date of closing for like bank statements and pay stubs. That's been shortened to 60 days. Not a big deal. We've always done that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if we see like debt to income ratio restrictions, things like that, just because I've seen that all happen before. Mm-hmm. But you know, we're still lending money. We still want people to buy homes, and we're still here to help make that happen.
Yeah. Good information.
Yeah. Great questions. Well, Lynette, you're on mute.
Yes. Good to see you, Summer.
Good to see you.
I have another call at 3:30, so I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I miss you all.
All right, girls. Guy.
Thank you so much, Summer.
I'll sign off. Thank you, Summer. That was great, great info.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you. If there's anything anybody needs, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here. We're working like crazy.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
There you are.
Bye.
Summer.
Thanks, Summer.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.